Hey, it is 8 o'clock on the East Coast, Tuesday night at 8 p.m., and it's time for Proper Royals Live. Happy 4th of July to y'all. This is going to be a very, I was going to say very quick. It won't be quick. I'll probably still be 30, 40 minutes of an episode, but a shorter episode than you are used to. I just got back from vacation, which is why I look like I've lived in a van for 2 weeks because I no, it was a great accommodations all along the way. I did spend a couple nights in the Tacoma, but not. I certainly wasn't living in it. Happy to be home. Thankful that I got to go. Thankful that life is good enough that I can do that sort of thing right now. It hasn't always been, so that's really, really cool. I won't bore you with the stories of my travels. You can follow me on Facebook or whatever if you want that. I don't think that's what you all come to the show for. You come for some content, right? So anyhow, I thought I was going to do like a recorded episode tonight because it is the 4th of July and we should all be out, hanging out, having a good time. And if you watch this on the replay, I hope you had a great 4th of July. If you're watching live, we're going to get you out of here in time here on the East Coast to catch the fireworks, and out on the West Coast and in the middle of the country, you got a little bit of time before it gets dark. So hang out for a minute or two. I see there's 17 of you. Who else here? Strictly Strange Snakes. Phil, what's going on, man? I got a special word here for you in just a second. Shannon, thanks for the warm wishes earlier. Drago, how you doing, man? I hope that you're well. I hope those bananas that you got are doing well too, man. Justin says he loves the beard. Justin, I hate this beard in Florida. Oh my gosh, the heat and the humidity is bonkers. This thing is gone. Like, soak it up because this is out of here. Stan, what's going on, man? I hope that you all are well. Hey, Brotherhood Exotic Morphs. I don't know if I've seen you before. Thanks for checking out the show tonight. Thanks for coming in. Hippo Herps, same thing. I don't know if you've been here. Thanks for coming back. If I haven't, welcome you. Hey, Don, how are you, man? Thanks for tuning in. Don, I met really briefly. I didn't get a chance much to hang out with Don, but I met Don very briefly at Jeremy's barbecue. We'll catch up on that too. It's a really cool thing to like. I had that as one of my segments, but it's really cool to meet people in person. But it's also really challenging because, like, I know people from their logo, but not their face. And sometimes I don't even know their name. Like Uptown Exotics, I know is Don now because he put Don there. Anyway, I mixed it all up is what I was saying. And there were a couple people, man, I felt really, really bad, man. Paul from Large Marge was at the party the whole time, and I didn't realize that Paul was Large Marge. And same thing happened with, a similar thing happened with, there was a guy there, and I have to admit, man, this is like really embarrassing, really goofy. For Pride and Joy, that I've always loved their name, Pride and Joy. I think it's brilliant. He walks up and he's got a black flag tattoo on his arm, and I was like, immediately, I was like, oh, dude, this old punk, man, we're gonna get along great. But he's wearing a shirt that said Smitty's Serpent. So I was all confused. I had no idea who it was until he's leaving. He's like, Adam, great to meet you, great to hang out, Pride and Joy. I was like, okay. Anyhow, I had a really, really great time. I'll tell you about the barbecue. Before I get there, first couple, you can't leave 100+ animals for 2 weeks without a massive amount of help. So I got to get through some of this help real quick. Tito at Tradesman Exotics. If you guys need live ASFs here in Jacksonville, I don't know what his stock is like, but he's a fantastic breeder. And he's a very good snake keeper as well, and extremely knowledgeable. The least you could do, though, is go check out Tradesman Exotics on Instagram, give him a follow, show him some support, that kind of thing. Hardworking, really excellent guy, and recently a new father. I say recently, I guess it's been about a year, but still in that phase where life is extremely challenging and busy as a new father. He found time to come over, he actually got my hatchlings fed for the first time while I was gone and looked out for the animals, all that good stuff. So that's Tito at Tradesman Exotics. Secondly is Danny at Northeast Florida Snake Lady. She lives in my neighborhood, and she works in the community. If it's a really interesting thing, she has a venomous certification, and if somebody, and she has a Facebook and an Instagram page, but if people report that there is a venomous snake or any snake that they like, basically what it is when people think that they should kill a snake, they could call her and she'll just come get it and move it and relocate it for free. And all the while educate you a little bit and all of that sort of thing. So she lives here in my neighborhood, and she was a massive help. So I'm going to, on Instagram tomorrow, I'll tag them both in my posts tomorrow. Give them a little love, though. What a cool pair of people that I'm fortunate enough to have helped me out around town here. Next up, Stephen and Courtney at Leviathan Snakes. Stephen guest hosted while I was out. And then the next episode that Charlie at Reagan Renee Royal Pythons, who deserves big thanks as well, he held down the fort one night. Courtney was Charlie's guest. So all of it was massively cool. And then Kevin from Brad Boa Reptiles was the guest the first night when I was out as well. So thank you all to those folks. And then to the people on the road that hooked it up, man, Jeremy Warfel is an amazing dude. But you know who doesn't get the thanks is the person behind the guy, the woman behind the guy. Kara, thanks for putting up with all of us at your house. Thanks for putting up with a few of us crashing there overnight and one of us crashing there 2 nights. Just a huge help. Huge thanks. The hospitality was incredible. Thank you so much. Really cool. Got to hang out with Celtic Balls. That is Jeff and Angie. They drove from Missouri with Holly, and I'm sorry, I'm getting everybody trying to keep it all straight here. Holly from Texoma also rode with them. So 3 of them in a car from somewhere near the Texas-Oklahoma border all the way to Pennsylvania. They got there the night before the barbecue. I guess that was Friday night, the same evening that I did. And none of us had ever met. Jeremy knew them a whole lot better than I had. I hadn't interacted much. I'd seen Jeff and Angie on Jeremy's podcast before, Warfel's Morphs. But I actually hadn't interacted with Holly much at all. I'd seen her picture and her Instagram post. She's super active and that kind of thing, but I hadn't interacted with her much at all. And, you know, the great thing about traveling, and especially when you can stop and you can have dinner with people and you can actually have a chance to meet and interact, and in person, you start to find that you just have so much more in common than not in common. And it was just really great to connect, and really kind of surreal that people from Kansas City, Texas, Oklahoma border, Jacksonville, Florida, were all hanging out in the Pennsylvania countryside. Like, and when I say countryside, like we were driving through cornfields right around the corner from Jeremy's house, maybe right across the street. So really cool. Great thanks to them. Everybody really welcomed me, made me feel at ease and at home. It was great. Jeremy cooked us dinner. It's just real cool. So thank you all. I had a great time there. I'm going to put up footage. I was going to play footage tonight, and then I realized that the editing process was going to be far more than I could tackle today. I've been gone 2 weeks, so I've gone through every tub, switched out every tub. I have loaded all the tubs with cocoa, and I really don't like to do that. Just myself, my preference here in Florida. I don't need much humidity, and I clean constantly. So I've flipped over, 100, I think in the neighborhood of 120 tubs in the past 2 days. Completely clean, completely fresh, all of that. So I didn't have time to get into edit and all of that, but I will put up some footage from the barbecue, either on Instagram Reels or in YouTube videos. Sorry, in the comments, when I'm solo, I don't have the time while the other people are talking to look down, and I try not to look down because I want to engage the camera and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and then I get distracted like that. I'm like, yeah. Hey, Johnny P. So anyhow, I will carry on. I will get that footage up though. I think last on my thank you list, and I'm sure I've forgotten plenty of people, is Phil at Finger Snakes Ball Pythons. Phil is a fellow musician. He's an amazing guitarist, fantastic guitarist. He and I, stylistically, we would be hard pressed to find a farther distance between two players. And I mean that absolutely complimentary. And I mean it from a musicianship standpoint. He far exceeds me. I mean, just the stuff he's doing. And we had a great talk, and he really enjoys the intricacies of learning all the details of these epic songs. And that's not the world that I live in. I'm a 3/4 chord go kind of guy. And sometimes I even forget to try and follow or stay true to the original song because I'm having a good time, or I need to dumb it down for me to be able to play it. So what I'm saying is for Phil to sign up to play with me and then just bring it just so much, man, it was so cool. And then we did manage to get some good footage, and then really funny, Phil's going to get a kick out of this. The rest of y'all get a smaller kick out of it. But I set the camera down when we got on to play because I didn't have anybody to operate the camera. I didn't realize I'd hit the record button. So I got 18 minutes of our first 18 minutes of the set. I actually have audio for because the camera is just pointing off to one of the roofs of one of the tents. So Phil, you'll be relieved to know it sounded pretty good, even right out of the gate, man. So anyway, thanks so much, Phil. I had a blast. I look forward to doing it again. It'd be fun to for me to step up my intricacy just a little bit as a personal challenge. So there we go. Great to meet everybody. Really, really cool. Different crowd. I had not met anybody in person that was there, I don't think. I take that back. Chris from BNS Reptilia was the only person I'd met in person there before. So really, really cool. Different group of breeders, different scene than here in Florida. Thanks everybody for welcoming me. I had a real blast. Thank you. Thanks, Jeremy, for doing that. The prep and the return to work, the prep to go was getting everything set up on Coco, which I normally don't do. I wanted the snakes to have some absorbency of their waste. It usually buys you a couple extra days if you need it, kind of thing, versus just sitting there on a paper towel. So I loaded everything on Coco. I think I used 8 blocks of Coco to get, all 100+ animals set up on Coco. And then really just talked Tito and Danny through my processes and my operations. And again, thanks to that. Massive thanks for looking out for the animals. Had a clutch lay while I was out. Not too exciting. I mean, exciting for me, not exciting for podcast material. But that is going to be it was a female Enchi het clown to a visual, either Enchi or pastel clown. Enchi clown or pastel clown. I forget which. I have 2 of those Enchi het clown females, and one got the visual Enchi male, and the other got the visual pastel male. So I forget which it is right now, but I'll have clowns coming up from that clutch. I've got 3 that are ready to go at any second, any moment. Maybe they'll be here when we get off the air tonight. I'm not sure. I got to catch up with the content. I haven't, I was kind of slacking when I was on vacation. That's what you're supposed to do. So I'll pick that back up. And then the monthly email, I will have that out by the end of this week as well. And then tonight I start feeding. After the show, after the fireworks, I will start feeding. And get all the animals caught back up. They did not eat while I was out. So they're ready. As far as work goes, I've got my one client in North Carolina. I'll catch back up with them. But my other project here in Jacksonville came to an end as planned. And I'm not sure if I'm going to pick that back up again or if I'm going to what I'd really like to do is spend the second half of the year really focused on the snakes and all the hatchlings that I'm going to have, and really focus on building this business. But obviously life has a way of dictating some of that. And frankly, the opportunity is good. It's hard to walk away from a good opportunity, a good financial opportunity, when it's right there in front of you and you know that you're going to be good at it. I'm talking about that project if a bigger offer comes back. So we'll see. That's a consulting project. I may or may not take that on. But otherwise, I do intend to work very hard to build the Proper Royals brand and content. Got some cool things going on. One not Proper Royals related. Believe it or not, I have some land in North Carolina that I got from like a bank foreclosure auction. It's been 11 or 12 years since I bought it. But somebody's approached me about buying it out of the blue. So anyhow, maybe I can get a little boost that way. That'd be great, huh? I've got a behind the scenes thing cooking that I can't quite share yet. And the only reason I don't want to share it is because I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't, it's a little experiment a buddy and I worked on starting about 6 weeks ago. And it absolutely exploded. I mean, it's massively, far more successful than I ever thought it would be. It is snake related, but it's social media snake related. So anyway, I'm trying to figure out what to do with this thing. And when I do figure it out, I'll let you know about it. But that's going on. And then I am thinking about, I'm still kicking around the idea of a second weekly show that would be in the mornings, and it would be a little less like deep dive nerdy business focus, just more like community industry focus. I'll keep you posted. I'm not sure on that just yet. I'm trying to whittle down ideas. I got to be able to describe it more than the way I just did. It's got to have a little more of a niche and a little more of a mission. Now it could evolve into all sorts of cool things, but I got to have something to start it with, so I'm working on it. I'm thinking it through. I would do it with a co-host too. I think I would, I don't know. I booked my table at Orlando. My table at Orlando is booked. That's not really news. I'll be vending at Orlando Repticon on July 29th and July 30th. So I'll be there, and that's 3 weeks away, I guess, 3.5 weeks away. I will be vending at the Orlando Repticon, which is that and Tampa are my two favorite shows other than Daytona. They're fantastic. So I'm excited to get back there. But what I was really excited about is that I did book a table at Daytona for this year. So I'll be vending this year's Daytona. That's kind of a cool thing. Like in one way, anybody can sign up to do it. There's literally 2 questions that you have to answer, and you only get asked the second one after your money arrives. The first question is, what will be on your table? And as long as you answer something that isn't roof gutters or umbrellas and is even slightly reptile related, ideally with some form of reptile, you can get a table at Daytona. It's a massive show. So it's not a huge accomplishment, but it's a surreal thing for me, just because I remember like the massive scope and kind of awe that I felt when I went to Daytona for the first time. I remember seeing that line for the first time going, holy smokes, look at all of these people, and now I'll be able to vend it. So that's pretty cool. So come say hey in Daytona. I'll be there. And if you're in Orlando for the Orlando Repticon coming up at the end of this month, come on by too. Come hang out. What else? A little bit more housekeeping. One thing I don't like about these solo shows is that my usual branded backdrop isn't there. It's harder to give a little shout out to the sponsors. So I got to make sure I do them right. REDLINE Shipping, please check them out. If you haven't used it or if you've forgotten to use it, use the promo code PROPER5. I think everybody that uses REDLINE has used it already. But if you haven't tried REDLINE Shipping to ship your reptiles and your live animals, then you should check it out. And honestly, you can use REDLINE Shipping to ship anything. They just specialize in live animal shipments. The customer service is fantastic. You've heard me say it. Check out Jeremy Warfel's live from Sunday night. He'll tell you a story of just a killer example of their customer service. Proper5, you're going to get $5 off of your next shipping label from REDLINE Shipping. Cold-Blooded Cafe. I don't even know if it's worth using the promo right now. They're running a 40% off or up to 40% off. Excuse me. I don't want to mess this up or make promises that they can't deliver or that I can't deliver. Check out their site though. It's their biggest sale of the year that I've seen so far. And they're great rodents. I use them for over 80 to 90% of my collection. Anything that eats frozen, which I try and get all of my animals on, gets Cold-Blooded Cafe frozen thawed rodents. They have a variety of rodents you can choose from, and I think that they're fantastic. Go check it out right now. Like I said, they have a huge sale going on. And then on your next order, use the promo code PROPER10. I don't think you can double dip on discounts that are already there, but maybe you can. I don't know. Try it out. But the promo code PROPER10, when you can use it, is going to get you 10% off of your whole order. And, you know, a box of frozen rodents can add up real fast. So 10% can really make a difference and add up for you. BNS Reptilia, Chris, check him out for all. Just go check out his page. Just go see what he's working with. Like ball pythons, yeah, check, definitely. 7 or 8 more species of snake and reptilia. Yeah, those are there too. Go check them out. I talked to him in person. We got to hang out at the barbecue. I'll have his logo up. I'll have his links up and all of that kind of thing next week, back when we have guests. But Chris is fantastic. He's also he's in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. He's in Pennsylvania. He's a Pennsylvania distributor for the chipper cocoa, and he also has their pre-prepared cocoa to go, I believe it's called. And he's super great to do business with, super knowledgeable on what he's doing, and just has great customer service. I really enjoyed catching up with him at the barbecue. And last but not least, the only people I'm able to flash a logo for, because they get it, make useful things that people will keep around and handy. Look at that coaster, Snakes for the Memories, right there. That's Jeremy and Holly. They are somewhere in the transition of their move from South Florida to Indiana, I believe. I'm not sure where they're at. I got to get in touch with them. They do have 2023 hatchlings that have hit the ground. They also are a cocoa distributor. I forget which brand. I don't promo that brand. It might be the same brand, but I don't promo their cocoa. But they also have cool merch. Like look at their marketing scheme on color scheme, branding, all really cool, and they do a great job on their merch. So go check them out. Snakes for the Memories. All of these people literally make this show possible. What I was just talking about considering whether I'll take work or not take work, is largely in part to how these sponsors are able to keep me afloat and keep me breeding snakes and making content. So thank you very much. Take care of them if you don't mind, if you can use them. And I stand by all of these people, by the way. It's not, you don't just get to write me a check and me yammer on for you. I guess for the right price, but I'd be transparent. I'd tell you that. These are people that I interact with, I do business with, and that I either own snakes from, I use their cocoa, I rely on their insight in the business, I ship with Redline, and I feed my animals Cold-Blooded Cafe. There you go. Next week coming up, we got Portuguese pythons. I believe they're out in California, but they might be in Nevada. I first interacted with them after Jason Kittinger was on my show, and he mentioned that he was real impressed with the work they were doing. We'll get a West Coast perspective from them next week, and then the following week, the man himself, Mr. Steve Casino, he's going to come on. He doesn't do many podcasts, and if you look around, never mind. I'm just going to stop that thought right there. I'm grateful that he's going to do mine. He was a great help when I was a customer of his. He's been a real supporter at the shows, and now it's really kind of turned into kind of a mentor. Anything I've needed, or when I call him or get in touch with him. So anyhow, Steve Casino, that's Steve's Morphs, if you don't know who I'm talking about. And if you still don't know who I'm talking about, go check out Steve's Morphs and check out Portuguese Pythons. Both of them have some killer stuff. The industry with just those two would be just fine. It needs all of us, but those guys leading the charge they're some heavy hitters coming up. I did have one clutch hatch. I give you the update on that. It was a blackhead het genetic stripe to blackhead het genetic stripe. If you're watching your clock as I am, I'm going to try and wrap this up in the next 5 minutes so you guys can all hit the fireworks. Hey, look at that, man. I didn't look at the promos or the comments a whole lot because I'm trying to engage with the camera. Check out what High Vis Pythons had to say right there while I'm keeping you up to date on these hatchlings. So it was the blackhead het genetic stripe to a blackhead het genetic stripe. I hit one visual genetic stripe, and thank God for that one. Could you imagine, like, thinking, man, maybe these aren't hets. Maybe this wasn't a het-to-het pairing. What have I got here? Should I breed them again? Should I not? How do I label the hatchlings? Blah, blah, blah. Thank God that genetic stripe was there. Like, I don't even care what money I get for them. I'm just so happy to know that the snakes are what they're supposed to be and that I can label them as such. So I had one genetic stripe. I had 3 super blackheads, 66% het genetic stripe. So missed on a little soft on the genetic stripe odds, but really strong on the super odds. One blackhead, 66% het genetic stripe, and one normal, 66% het genetic stripe. One of these supers unfortunately passed. I don't know if you've seen on Instagram. I thought it was a twin egg that only one developed, and it was very, very small. Other people say that was a remnant of the yolk that it didn't absorb. Either way, that little guy didn't make it. I did what I could. I got 2 rat tails into him that he ate with an assist, but it was definitely assist, not a force feed. But he passed while I was on vacation. So I've got 2 super blackhead, 66% het genetic stripe. I have not sexed them yet. One will be available. I was trying to think if there's any scenario where 2 would be available. I don't think so. I think I'm going to keep one no matter what. For sure, one will be available, though. The blackhead het, 66% het genetic stripe will be available. The genetic stripe will be available, and the normal 66%, that'll be available as well. So if you're interested in those, talk to me. I haven't priced them. I haven't sexed these animals yet, but I'll price accordingly and all that good stuff, you know. Clutch update. I've got only 2 or 3 clutches in there right now. 2, I think, right now. 3 that'll land any day. And after I ultrasounded today, looks like the over-under is still around 13 for the year. So pretty good. I got a late batch of stuff coming. If you ever hear me say the word pro tip, I'm being absolutely facetious because I think that's a silly expression for a grown man to use. But so in that light, pro tip, when you're ultrasounding with your linear probe, hold it horizontal to the snake. I don't know if you remember about 6-8 weeks ago, I was like, man, my numbers are through the roof. It looks like I'm going to have like 18 clutches now. And then I was like, there's something on my ultrasound and I can't figure out what it is. Man, if you hold that ultrasound the wrong way, there's like a perfectly round, like shadow background. That's the outside of the snake, but it looks like a gigantic egg. And so I started measuring that on all of those like a dummy. And I share this because it's pretty funny. If it hadn't happened to me, I would think it was real funny. But also I hope it helps somebody in the future who doesn't think that perpetually their females are at 36 millimeter follicles across the board. There you go. I'll send you off with that little bit of joy. That's my gift to you on this 4th of July. Everybody get out of here. Come back with as many fingers as you left with. Be careful tonight is what I'm saying. Go have fun. Happy 4th of July. I hope your holiday is fantastic. Thank you all for bearing with me on my holiday the past couple weeks. I can't wait to get back to it. I'll keep you posted on everything that I have going on. Tune in next week, Tuesday night at 8 p.m. I will go back and read all of your comments. Thank you all for being here tonight. Portuguese Pythons will be on next week. Steve Casino the following week. You know how to get in touch with me. All the contact info is down below. Cheers, guys. Happy 4th of July. See ya.